I think one of the things that isn't talked about a lot, I believe, at least from what I see in the spiritual awakening journey, is the time periods of when things happen. And I know it's different for everyone, but I feel like, over the past, in my life, like I've always been a spiritual person. I've always had a little bit of a sense of like being connected to the universe. And I always knew it was there, but I didn't really do anything about it. And then in December, which was December of 2022, I met who I believe is my divine counterpart. And fast forward 4 months, I'm going through the biggest, most prominent spiritual awakening and doing the most prominent and important deep soul healing that triggered me to my bringing out my deepest, darkest wounds that I need to heal in order to love myself, which I have done. And it's just up until maybe 2 months ago, I had no idea about tarot. I hadn't really delved into the spiritual world at all. I was never raised in a religion. Um, and it's hard when it's like all of a sudden I have TikTok. I'm on TikTok and I have, funny videos, yada yada. And all of a sudden, when I believe my divine counterpart, the divine masculine, ran and our separation period began, all of a sudden I was greeted with tarot card readings on TikTok. And I all of a sudden was, introduced to the idea of a twin flame. And I always believed oh, I want to find my soulmate, it's going to be perfect, yada yada. I had never heard of twin flames before. But when I heard it, it felt like everything that I experienced with this person and the separation and how what I had experienced in the first couple weeks of our separation was holy crap, this might be my twin flame. I'm pretty damn sure it might be my twin flame. But and then I just dove nosedive headfirst into the deepest spiritual awakening. And I feel like everything was fast tracked. I feel like a lot of people talk about the spiritual awakening journey, especially being triggered and opening up to dark night of the soul with your twin flame, is over a period of time. But I feel like I haven't really found my soul family yet, so I can't really talk about this with a lot of people. So I feel like a lot of people don't understand to this level of extent and have this level of knowledge or being open to talk about this, which is why part of the reason why I want to make these videos. It's I need to vent and talk about my experience to find like-minded people and who understand and maybe can give me insight. But it feels like people have experienced this over a period of time. I hear people talking about being, oh, it was 5 months, or it was, and then I went through all this and I came to a point of okay, I've accepted that they're not going to come back, yada yada, or dating other people. And sometimes I hear people talk about it being years. I know this has been my twin flame for 10 years, and I just feel like everything, at least from my experience, is accelerated. In December, I met this person who I believe that they are my twin flame. In March, there was separation. In the beginning of March. And now, being April, the end of April, so 2 months ago, all of a sudden, in this 2-month period, I have done I feel some of the hardest spiritual and facing my most darkest traumatic things to my core and my soul. And it just feels I'm all of a sudden I was hit with this massive transformation, and I'm not the same person I was 3 months ago. I am a different person. I've questioned everything up until now, and it's I can't go back to the person I was before. And one thing I'm struggling with now is how do I find like-minded people who experience what I'm experiencing and who I can talk to openly and freely about this stuff and not be greeted with pure confusion or questioning my sanity or not being open to thinking about things in a different perspective. And I just I met with a friend today and I explained to her my experience, and it's just sometimes I listen to myself and I'm I literally sound insane. And it might sound insane, and like a lot of people won't understand it because they're not on that same frequency as people who are more spiritual and more connected to source or universe or whatever you want to call it. But it's I know that part of this is being in solitude and doing the work, and finally, like, as a divine feminine, finding my boundaries, knowing my worth, finding my self-love. And I definitely feel like I found that. And I feel like I don't like to say I'm being tested. I like to say that I'm being given an opportunity to put into practice what I've been learning. And I definitely feel like that has been happening for me a lot. And the cycles of me doubting this and, like, doubting that, like, am I just being delusional? Like, am I literally just feeding into all this tarot stuff and listening to what I want to hear, and like making myself feel better by someone who just doesn't like me? But then I go back to, they do like me. I know how I felt. I trust my intuition. And it's like this circle of doubt, questioning, acceptance, starting to feel uneasy, feeling like I need to do more, because I feel like I have this constant sense of, like, I need to do something more. Like, I need to do something now to change, to be better, so that my divine counterpart can do their healing, and, like, I will be better and we'll finally come into union. And it's just like this sense of, yes, my journey happened in 2 months, and I feel like I've come to a point where it's like I have done a shitload of internal soul, like, deep healing. And I've come to a point where it's like I'm able to recognize, my old patterns, and, be able to balance my emotion and my intellect. And I have kind of come to that middle ground. And that was probably a time period where it might not be for a lot of people. So it's like I've come to this place now where it's like this limbo space where I have to be patient or release and just continue moving forward and waiting for whenever the time might be that my divine counterpart has done their healing. But it's like, I know I'm not alone. I have to remind myself that, like, I'm always divinely protected, and, like, everything that's happening is happening to orchestrate the best possible outcome for my spiritual journey, for my life, and, like, what is in the absolute most abundant timeline of mine, and, like, what is absolutely aligned with me. But it's like I get frustrated, and it's like I have so many emotions. I know there's a lot going on with the world right now, and Mercury retrograde, and where the moon is at, and I don't really do a lot of things with the moon, and I don't have a lot of knowledge, so I can't really say much about that. But I feel like I'm getting emotional whiplash, and from going to the happiest I've ever been, feeling the most content and at peace to a soul level that I've ever felt in my 24 years of life. And then I feel like everything is going down in flames. I feel like everything is make-believe. I have no idea what I'm talking about, and I'm living in this delusional fantasy world that I'm making up my head to try to cope with to try to cope with someone not liking me. But then, like, I remind myself that this is different. I'm more aware. I'm more awakened. And it's just like this constant battle in my mind. And it's just like, I'm also someone who I don't know how to quiet my mind. I'm an anxious person, hence, like, I'm the divine feminine. I have anxious attachment, and I am also the chaser. So, a lot going on there. But I feel like there's just so many emotions that I don't know how to handle, and I feel like, from what I read in, like, the tarot decks and, like, the guidance that I'm getting through, like, different sources, it's like, you need to take a breather, like chill the fuck out. Like, you need to chill. I don't know how to. So, like, I guess part of the reason why I make this is, like, how do I get to that middle ground? And I know, like, it might take time. Like, I have to go just, like, taking one foot in front of the other and, like, learning that, like, this mindset of just, like, waiting and hoping and, like, doing the work will, like, somehow lead my person closer to me, like, in a shorter period of time, which is, I don't want that mindset. I really don't want that mindset. But it's just like, this might not even make a lot of sense. I just need to vent, and I need to, like, create some sort of video journal diary of, like, where my mindsets are, because, like, I just have so much going on in my mind, and it's just spinning and twirling and going in circles, and it's not leading me anywhere. So it's like, hence why I need to, like, break the cycle and do something different, which is why I'm making these videos. But I want to find my soul family. and like taking the steps of finding people who like-minded people who understand this realm of living and realm of, spirituality. But I know it feels lonely at times because I feel like the level of, work that I'm doing in a very visceral and internal sense, and like how awakened I've become is very not traditional. And I've also always lived a non-traditional life. I've taken different paths in the crowd, and I'm realizing now that was probably there's many purposes for that, and a lot of things make more sense now in my life, and like why things happen the way they did. But just like because I've had such this profound experience, and like all of a sudden all the puzzle pieces of my life are starting to come together, it's overwhelming. Not only am I learning about myself, I'm learning about a possible counterpart, a divine counterpart, like the highest divine counterpart, a twin flame that a person can have. And I'm dealing with relationships with friends and family who I don't feel in alignment with anymore because of the fact that, like, I don't vibe, and I'm not in the same frequency as them anymore. Same with my family, and trying to explain it to, like, my family. It's, like, me having to let go and, like, knowing that they're probably never going to understand what I'm going through. And, like, me being so... like, I can express what I'm going through and know things that I will accomplish in my life, and saying it matter-of-factly, and they look at me like, well, how do you know you're going to do that? It's like, I just know. I just know. And I think there's a sense of knowing and, like, deep inner peace that I've come to a place to, that, like, a lot of people don't get. So if you resonate with anything that I'm saying, like, reach out, because I know that, like, everything happens for a reason, and, like, who sees this, who might see this, who might not see this. This might just be for me to look back to in the future and know that, like, I'm the person that I've been looking for, and, like, I can be my own biggest cheerleader and everything. But it would be nice to have like-minded people to kind of, like, bounce ideas off of, because, like, I'm also someone who I want to challenge myself and question myself. Excuse my cat there, he's crying because he's not getting attention. I want to be someone who challenges myself and is open to new perspectives, because, like, that's part of the growth process. I want to challenge myself and, be reflective and really face things that I might not want to hear, but, like, I need to hear, like, in order for me to grow. So I don't know if this will go anywhere. I don't know if I feel like it is helpful for me to do this, because then I kind of, through my talking, I get a little bit clarity with myself. And if others resonate with this, then, like, that's great, and we can build a community together and support each other through whatever awakening, spirituality, thing you're going through in your life. And it's very specific, so I know that might not resonate with everyone, but you never know unless you try, which is why I'm making these videos, to put it out there. So we'll see. Another video down, and it definitely makes me feel better, and if you resonate, then reach out to me. Thank you.